U.S. and Russian officials are pointing fingers at each other. An American drone collecting intelligence near Ukraine's coast crashed into the Black Sea after a confrontation with Russian fighter jets. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin has more.
U.S. drones frequently fly surveillance missions over the Black Sea, among other things, to monitor the fighting in Ukraine. Russian fighters usually come out to intercept them, but this time they seem bent on causing harm. A Russian jet approached from the rear, dumping fuel. U.S. officials believe the pilot meant to come up in front of the drone so it would fly into the fuel cloud, but pulled up too soon and clipped the drone's propeller, which is located in the back. John Sullivan was U.S. ambassador to Russia at the start of the war.
And this is just a sign of Russia's aggressiveness and lawlessness in pursuit of the special military operation.
It happened 75 miles southwest of the Crimean Peninsula, a part of Ukraine seized by Russia. For more than half an hour, 2 Russian jets made a total of 19 passes on the unarmed drone, popping up in front to blast it with their jet exhaust and trying to drench it with their fuel. On the final pass, the Russian pilot missed his approach. Just bad piloting, one official said.
They collided with the aircraft, damaging the propeller and essentially putting it in a situation where it was unflyable and uncontrollable.
This was an aircraft that was flying in international airspace, intercepted by much faster, much more maneuverable Russian fighter aircraft who were trying to bring it down or force it down. And they're lucky they didn't lose one of their own planes and pilots in doing so.
Now the Pentagon wants to recover the wreckage before the Russians get to it, but is operating at a disadvantage since there are no U.S. Navy ships in the Black Sea. David Martin, the Pentagon.
Let's bring in senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe to talk more about this. Ed, good to see you as always. What has the White House response been to this collision?
Nikki, good to see you. No response from the White House overnight. The president's here in Las Vegas for unrelated events, but there is concern, of course, about whether the Russians are going to be able to get to the remnants of that drone before the United States does. As David pointed out, there is no U.S. naval presence in the Black Sea, so some kind of rescue attempt would have to be pretty focused and would have to be pretty quick, probably, to avoid any other confrontation. But the president has said nothing about this since he traveled last night from Los Angeles here to Las Vegas, and we'll see if he has anything more to say about it later in the day.
So why is he in Las Vegas? He's going to be speaking at UNLV. What's he going to be talking about?
That's right. He's got an event here, Anne-Marie, on the ongoing attempts to lower prescription drug prices for seniors. Remember, a big part of that Inflation Reduction Act that was passed last year included making big changes in how Medicare can negotiate for dozens of prescription drugs, and also includes a cap now on the price of insulin at about $35. The hope here today for the president is in a state with a sizable population of seniors. He can point out that Democrats in the White House have done this together, and that in his new budget, he's pushing for Medicare to go even further to negotiate lower prices for even more prescription drugs and eventually then bring down the cost for taxpayers and the deficit at the same time, something that Republicans have said they're eager to do, of course. So while not necessarily cutting away at the edges of Medicare itself, at least making the whole program a more cost-effective one. He was also here last night, and I know you were going to ask me about this. I'm just going to roll right into it. He also was here last night raising money, because what does the president normally do in the West but raise money from donors in either party? He raised about $1 million Monday night in San Diego. He raised more than $1 million here in Nevada last night. Notable because he never came here during the midterm election season last year because Democrats didn't want to be seen with him, frankly. But there is money to be raised for the Democratic National Committee. The money can eventually be rolled into what everyone presumes will be his re-election campaign, because the DNC will be able to use it towards that. And part of an ongoing fundraising swing this week by him, by the vice president, by the second gentleman here in Nevada, California, Texas, and up in New York.
Actually, Ed, I was going to ask you if he was in Vegas to bet on March Madness, you know, go someplace where it's legal. But now we've run out of time, and we'll never be able to know that answer. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, so the